Um, and some of you guys can go back and watch the drive. Been kind of working on it. Like I said, I'll let a few of you guys jump on in here. I noticed two's watching, so but guys, I just wanted to show you. I don't know how well my reception, but I got the Camaro moved today. Um, got a neighbor that's kind of nosy. He's watching everything I'm doing, so to each their own. Uh, but I got me a load of gravel. It's a little bit more than I suspected that it would be. That stuff's went up in price. But a buddy of mine told me to kind of lay down some, because I have a lot of weed problems right in through here. I don't know if you can see it. So I took your advice and got some Viz Queen. I don't know if it's going to work or not. We'll just see what happens. I wasn't going to spend a whole lot on that part because I kind of overdid it on the SP2. But as you can see, I've been kind of working this back over in here. I've got another guy to be done, so I'm going to keep plugging along by hand. That's the way I do things is manhand. Paint booth, paint area in there done by tomorrow. By the time he gets here with the tractor, he said it'd be 9, 10 o'clock. And hopefully he can, get this all smoothed out. And I kind of want him to do it to where he can get the grade. I want to kind of my driveway there, and this has been needed done for quite a while, and it's a new experience. Um, it's sometimes you don't know whether or not um, to spend the money or do the project or just hire it done or whatever. But right now, my funds are limited. Um, Still in the process of trying to get some business coming in. Um, it's just one of them things, um, you know. And being as I had some spare time and stuff, I just thought I'd go ahead and do this myself. And I started early this morning, so I'm plumb wore down. I was surprised that they brought the SP2 out as quick as they did. And some of the drivers, I'll put it that way, when I was building a garage, didn't carry it back in because they were afraid that I'd say something them tearing up my trees. And I told him where I wanted it and where I thought he needed to dump it, and he was cool with it. And he said, "Man, that's going to work perfect." He said, "My bed will go all the way to the top," and he said, "I'll be in and out." And he thanked me for having everything set up. He said he's been to some of them where he's had to wait on a couple guys, and he said, their time is money too, guys. When they're driving them trucks and things, um, you know, they want to get in, get out, get gone, and that's one thing a lot of people don't take into consideration. And and that's what I told him. I made the area that I had him dump it, I made sure because we've had a lot of rain and stuff, it wasn't going to rut. And them trucks weigh a bunch. And he said he's been into some tight spots, and he's told people, "Hey, I'm going to sync up. I can just where it's at." And I think he was just happy overall that he could get in, get out, and get gone. So it was quick buck for him. I think that's what I need to start doing is get my own dump truck and start hoeing SP2 or dirt because golly, folks, a truckload is pretty expensive. I can remember when you didn't spend a whole lot on on dirt and stuff. But I'm going to try to do a video tomorrow. Um, there's another light I think you guys might be interested. I haven't seen anybody put it on YouTube. Hopefully it's still there. Um, it's an awesome light. I've been wanting it for a while, and I've got a little bit of funds, so I decided I was going to run over to Harbor Freight and grab it. Last time there was only one there. I'm sure they're going to get more in, but Harbor Freight is not the only, or Snap-on's not the only place to go. Hey guys, how's it going? It's just one of them deals to where, you know, I get it all the time from buddies. Well, you go from Snap-on to Harbor Freight to Napa and I'm like, guys, Snap-on's not the only way to go. You got to use your head. And you get one or two guys that buy from Snap-on all the time, and I know a couple of them that's got $3,000 or $4,000 in just tools, and then they have their toolbox, and they're sitting there complaining, that they don't have a whole lot of money, and that's what I've told them. If you guys would not just buy Snap-on, I mean, if you can afford it, great, but not every guy, or at least I can't do it. And some of us are brand whores. I used to be that way. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. You got two of them lights. That's cool. The only thing I've been saying to these guys is, don't go out there and spend $30,000 on a box that you can't afford, or you got 2-3 kids and you're paying a Snap-on bill of $100 a month, or I know a couple guys that's paying $200 a month, but their rigs are ready to fall apart. And they're bitching, they're having to put a new starter, or they don't have the money for a new back glass, or, that's the only thing I'm saying. Don't, if you can afford the tools, great. It took me 30 some odd years to get my Snap-on box. Sometimes I wished I would have, kind of looked around and maybe bought a used one or whatever. Don't get me wrong, I love my box. I figured a way to, pay for it. But, some of these guys, they jumped the gun. And like you said, with Mac, I've got a friend, everybody in the shop had a Snap-on box but him. And he felt left out. And I understand he had a Mac box for so many years, and they give him a great trade-in on his Mac box, but he's still going to be paying $7,000 for a box. And I know he struggles. His box was paid for. Why? And that's what I asked him. Why did you go in debt? $40 a week or whatever it is, but I said, figure it up. It's just, you gotta have, within reason, and that's what I don't, and I'm bad about that. Sometimes I'll think, I gotta have it right now, and I'll, what I call buyer's remorse. I've had that a couple times. It's just anything. There's been a couple times that, like a rig that I bought, I was like, man, I wished I'd have waited a year and got, more options than that. Yeah, the Harbor Freight tool carts are awesome, and I don't know if you guys have looked at the new flyer, but they've got, I believe it's red, black, and there's another color. They're $199. And if I didn't have all the boxes I did have and everything, I'd go buy one. I don't know why I need another one, but I'd seen them over there the other day. um, some of their boxes and things are you can get them pretty reasonable. And I don't know, there's some things at Harbor Freight are good, and then there's, they do have junk. I'll admit that. And I've learned over the years, why buy it twice? And my wife understands that, with my snap on tools. She has not complained one bit, and she jokes with people about I have 2 to 3 of everything. But like she says, when I need it, I've got it. I don't have to worry about it. If I break something, I call the Snap-on guy up. I get a new one. She knew there was a couple times I had to run over to Harbor Freight, and I wasn't happy on a weekend that I had to buy, a well, I'll give you for instance. It was a spring uh, compressor. We were working on a guy's car, and we needed to compress the springs. And he told me if I pay half and he'd pay half, he'd just give me it. So we went over there and bought a cheaper one. Um, and I wished we'd never bought it because we used it one time. It like to tore our head off once we got the spring out. But once we got the spring out, the thing decided it wanted to let loose. And, it's just one of them things. How much is your safety worth? And I, try to tell, I learned from experience. But don't get me wrong, some of Harbor Freight stuff, I've gotten by for years. I've got a buddy that went over there and bought a couple winches. They have some of the best winches, and if they'll outlast this buddy that I'm telling you about, guys, you need to go over there and buy one because he'll buy them over there and he puts them through. He's a scrapper, and if you could see his trailer that's a year old, you would think it was 10 years old. I mean, he don't care. He just throws it up on there and just goes. How's it going, guys? But it's just one of them things, I thought I'd get on here today. And um, there's my pile of dirt. Anybody want to help me? Or my pile of SP2. Anybody want to help me spread it around? I've been working my tail off. Oh, you piece of shit. Yeah, I've been working sun up, probably to sun down, trying to get this driveway whipped into shape. But I figure some of my customers and things when they come, and I'm in the process of looking for a older style forklift maybe, or a tractor that I can pull motors and things. I think I'm going to get back into rebuilding motors. I've got a guy that told me that he would build the short blocks pretty reasonable. Um, and then, if somebody wants me to put it in their car or whatever, I'll make the long block for them. But I know there's some serious money in that because there's a lot of people's not doing it. And he's starting his own little machine shop out of his house. All right, guys, I don't know if I lost you or if you're still with me or what, but there's the old Camaro. There's the old 48 I've chopped the top on. It's rough. It's been sitting out here for forever. And then, of course, you got the old Challenger sitting over there. And the car hauler's worse for wear. I need to clean it up. But, and then you can see my pile of dirt or pile of gravel over there. But kind of wished I had the old Camaro going. It's been a couple years since I've been working on it. Started to paint it little at a time, and now I'm going to probably have to go back and redo it. There's the dash that I made. That took me about a month or so to make that dash. I feel bad about the car just sitting out here. There's some airbrushing that I've done. I don't know if y'all can see that. And then I done a little different than everybody. This is out of a Dodge. And then I also, I don't have the front end on it. I wished I did. I'd show you guys. I took the front valance is a 68 and a I ordered the 68 and the 72 valance. Took the 72 valance, cut it, put the 68 into it. I seen it done on Overhauling. Chip Foose had done it. Mine turned out fairly decent. I wished I could have had him do it, but this is just one project that, I wish they both were finished. I just need to get after them, I guess. But that gives you some idea of what, what I can do, what I'm working on. I've been looking to maybe get into that. Look for a job doing that. I'm still going to do it on the side like I have. I can make pretty good money doing that. I just got to get my name out there, get people to know where I'm at. That's the main thing. I went to the car show this weekend and brought 3 trophies home. One was best interior, one was best engine, and then little boy had picked mine for GM overall pick. It was at a car dealership, and they had different trophies and things. That kind of made me feel pretty good. We helped the dealership, out to where they, they're going to use the car for one of their ads, I think he said. And, there was some pretty stiff competition there. There's one guy that he won 2 trophies that had I call it an Eleanor car. It was red. It was almost, man, it was the nicest Mustang. I bet you he had probably, if I was guessing, 80 to 100,000 or more in that car. He started it up next to me, and that thing was, it was bad to the bone. He was a younger guy, but there was some nice rides, and then there were some old school cars there. A guy in a old school van. It was kind of funny because he had it all done up in the interior was pot leaves and things like that, and I kind of laughed. I said, well, I said, now it's legal for you. And he's like, well, back in the day when I done that, he said, he said I was nothing but a doper. And I kind of laughed at him, but he won a nice trophy also. But I guess that's why I enjoy going to the car shows and things, the camaraderie and different things, and you see guys that paint cars and things in their garage, and they can do just as good or better than a dealership or have a lean-to like I do. And you can put out a pretty nice paint job. You don't have to have the best tools, the best you know spray guns. If you take your time and that, you can definitely put out a nice project. And sorry about the wind, guys. It's been blowing here all day. Hopefully I still on live. I have interruptions or get interrupted, so right now I'm just sitting on the back of my truck. It's the coolest spot. I really need to get back after it, but it amazes me how some of these people drive. I don't know how many people on my subdivision, our corner, we're on the corner lot, and people fly around the corner, and I've seen them almost connect with one another because nobody wants to slow down. And one day there was a lady that she was going in the curve, and there was a little Mini Cooper coming, and she went in through the neighbor's yard. But when I think she thought she was going to be able to just drive through my yard and driveway and there's a tree right there, but also I've got landscape timbers and they're up high. And I think she decided real quick if she hit them landscape timbers that it was going to tear some stuff up. And how she missed the tree, I'll never know. But it was a really close deal. And I know I was crapping down both legs, so she had to have been. But it's been, like I said, a busy day, guys. So I just kind of want to get what I've been working on. There's another light over there that I think you guys would be very, very interested in. Yeah, I agree, because wow, it was just how she missed everything. I will never know. And if she would have hit them railroad ties, it probably flipped her car. I don't know, because I mean she was coming at a high rate of speed. But I can't say when I was younger that I didn't do some stupid things myself. So I don't think I've done this much manual labor in a long time, guys. And I'm paying for it. I'm and I still got a crap load of SP2 to go. Hopefully that guy will bring his tractor over tomorrow, and I'm not going to be manhandling it. But oh well, if not, I'll just plug along. And they say that's the way you eat an elephant, is one piece at a time. So I've never had elephant myself, but I hope everybody's Monday's going good. Know if y'all can hear the birds up behind me. They've made a nest. That's what all of that crap is right there. So I think I'm just going to put all metal in this shed. I knew better. It's just one of them things at the time. The stuff was given to me, and I thought, it'd last all right, but it just drew too much moisture and stuff, and the metal had been better anyway. I think it'd be against a lot of work any day. I think we've got it backwards. Um, I think you should be able to retire in your 20s to maybe 40 or so, and then you work, the remaining time. You're too old to get around in that, so just give us, jobs that, maybe 5 days or 5 hours a day, 4 days a week. That would work for me. I'd work my Monday up to Thursday, and then Friday's got to be the fun day. That should be the day that y'all get to go out and just and unlimited funds. That's the other thing. But I guess it don't work that way. You don't get nothing unless you put in a little blood, sweat, and tears. I guess you appreciate it a little more. And I've always worked my fingers to the bone. I've never had anything give to me. So it just seems like sometimes it's hard to hang on to. You have your ups and your downs, and that's why I say if you can enjoy life to the fullest, because you're not guaranteed tomorrow. I don't know if I showed you guys my. Some of you all may have seen it, but this is a little project I worked on a little while back. It's just a couple. I put a couple old pistons on it. He's holding a piston, and then he's got one here he's working on. Um, I need to get him bolted up to the. And then this part here is an old gas tank, some old wheels off of wheel, and then this is an old pipe, and then that was part of the gas tank. Um, this is something I was dinking around with. Yeah, Bierstead, I understand, and that's the sucky part. And like when I worked 12-hour shifts, 3 days one week, and then it was 4 days the next. But it seemed like when you were off, you may got one day that you enjoyed because the rest of the time you was either catching up on your sleep or you was doing, at least I was doing projects for everybody else, and I was still working, other 3, 4 days there that was for somebody else. And it just didn't seem like I was ever getting ahead. I thought I was, but, um, it's just this day and age, it's so hard for a guy to get ahead. And I think that's the way they got the system set up. Um, we all need to enjoy our lives a little bit more. That's my opinion, but And I've seen guys work, 30 years and get to the retirement and never get to enjoy retirement. So what is the sense in working like that? I've had buddies that are fence builders that are, they get up at 6 o'clock and they 8, 9 o'clock. Once again, I gotta plan things and none of them get to enjoy it. My neighbor was telling me that uh, 2 years ago he bought a boat and stuff, and it was before he got his divorce. And they went out 2 weekends and that, and that was the main thing that his wife complained about. His first wife was because he was putting in the time for the business, and she wasn't understanding that the UGG boots and the purses and all the stuff that she didn't wasn't working. She was out spending the money. Well, he had to work to support that habit. Excuse me. Plus 4 kids. Um, she wasn't understanding that. Well, you don't need to spend more time with me. And he said, I'm out there making this business work. I'm working my fingers to the bone, and you're not understanding. I can't. And that's what he said. The business part of it ended up costing him his first marriage. But, that's, like he said, that's the choice he made. That's the choice. Now he kind of, with his kids and that, he spends a little more time on the weekends. I notice he'll take off, and he'll just tell the people. I was talking with him one day, and a guy had called, and he said, "Well, I'll send my guys out there today, but they need time off, um, and it's going to be $250 an hour for a service call." And the guy's like, "Well, you know, you told me Friday it was going to be half that," and he said that was Friday, and he said I sent one of my guys out there, and you didn't show up. You didn't answer my phone. You didn't, when I was trying to call you, so now it's going to be more because it's on a Saturday or a Sunday. And the guy's like, well, I'll just wait till Monday or get somebody else. And he said, well, that's fine. He said, but, they're going to tell you the same thing, Um, people don't understand, the ones that are self-employed have lives too. They can't be married to a job, and you know, I can understand as you're doing a business, or because my business was that way. I would work weekends, not every weekend, but we do projects and things. But it was a deal that your customer didn't care one way or the other. That you had no time. You're working around the clock. And that's all I'm saying. If you're self-employed and that, you take time out for your family and things, and don't get into the rut. And I even did it when I worked for somebody. I was working 12-hour shifts, and if they wanted me to work or whatever, there was a lot of times that there was months on end that I would work. Uh, you know, the 4 days I was off, they'd ask me, and I'd work all 4 days because the money was good. But was it really good? What has it gained you? Yeah, you got ahead or whatever, but when them uh, times come that it's time for them to give back to you, or for them to decide, well, we don't need you no more. You know, to me, that's time that you've wasted with your family, or wasted away from your family. Um, and you know you're dedicated and you give blood, sweat, and tears to a company, but they don't appreciate it. They just want an able body, and they'll use you up. And once they're done with you, they'll toss you aside and get somebody younger that can do it. And I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's just the way it is. You're just a number. They don't care about you. And I had a lady that told me a while back, and she come back and she said, "Man, I really apologize to you. You had it figured out." And I told her, I said, "Once you hit 55, you better be prepared for for them to let you go or whatever, because somebody younger is going to come." And she told me straight out, she said, "Oh, my job is secure." And I said, "Well, you tell me that when you hit anywhere from 60 to 62, and you come back and tell me." And I said, "If you make it to 65, I will apologize to you for what I said, but I said, I'm telling you, you're going to be a thing of the past, and they're not going to, it don't matter what you know." I said, "You're always replaceable." And she just was one of these people that, "Oh, I'm not, they can't replace me." And they did. They come in, they said, and she was part of the HR department, and they come in and they said, "Well, we're downsizing. We've got a new HR person. She's went to school. She knows the newer laws and things, and we just think that you'd be better to take early retirement, and we suggest that you take early retirement's the way they put it." And she said, "I had no option." And that's all I'm saying, guys. If you're younger and that, the money may look good at first, um, but overall, it's money's not everything. Um, you know, you can get by. They're and especially if you're mechanically inclined like we are, and you've got the talents and things. There's no reason why you can't, you know, make some money on the side or whatever. It's just, you know, and sometimes it's hard. I know I had a very difficult time once I got laid off and that, and then my business. And you can find odd jobs or, do different things. Um, but, the only person you can count on really is yourself. Bottom line, you know, and I guess since I've been self-employed, and I was the guy that, I made pretty good money in the factories too. Don't get me wrong. Um, but there's always that, that downfall. Don't think that you're not replaceable. I'll put it that way. Um, and you can. I don't know. You can. A lot of people deal with life different than others. Um, you can get by. You may not have the nicer things, and a new car or a new rig, because I used to be one of them guys when I was making good money. Sorry, guys.